YouTube. What's up? What's going on? Gotta make sure you hit a hand sanitizer. Gotta be ready for this corona, you know. Got my mask, got my hand sanitizer. I'm all good. Nah, I'm just joking around, just messing around. Hey, I'm here to give y'all a update on what's going on. First of all, if you have not, go ahead and subscribe, like, share the video out, comment, do what you feel. But your boy Big E is here in Ennis, Texas, at Sterilite, the plastic totes that you see in Walmart and the Dollar General and all those places. Picking up a load of them going up to Utah. But I just wanted to hit y'all up, give you a bit of an update on what's going on. Everything is all good. Everything is all good. We're running, we're making a little money, trying to make a little money anyway. But we're doing what we do, So your boy is trying to do it, We're trying to keep it rolling. But I got a story to tell y'all. I got a couple things I want to tell y'all. And tune in for you young drivers. Tune in. Okay, so first of all, where should I start? Okay, we'll start with this. Okay, I was in Missouri. That's where I was at. I was in Missouri, and I was at a TA off of 70. I can't remember. It's between Kansas City and going towards, I believe St. Louis it was. But anyway, so I was at the TA. I parked. It was late. Like it was like 10:30, 11 o'clock when I parked. And I got me something to eat. Got in the bunk. You know how it goes. Excuse me. You know how it go. I was in my bunk. Got that good sleep. I got in that good sleep. I mean, when I say good sleep, it was raining outside, or it had been raining outside. I was knocked out. It was all good. Okay, so I'm getting this good sleep. Next thing I know, I hear dum 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 knock on the door. I'm like, oh no way, no sir, no ma'am, no. Ain't no knock on my door. Again, dum. Like, man, I know what y'all think it was. Wasn't no lot lizard. No, sir. Wasn't a lot lizard. Okay. All right. So, knock on the door. I jump up. I'm like, man, who the? Nah, I didn't. Okay. I jumped up. Came up here to the window. Rolled down the window, pulled my curtain back first, rolled down the window, and it was, doesn't matter, it's a white guy, long hair, had some color, purple, blue, or something in his hair, but he was like, hey man, I'm a new driver, and I kind of got myself in a situation, and my trainer don't think he can get out without hitting your truck. Can you move over? I'm like, hell no, I can't move over. And I went back and I went to sleep. Told him to figure it out. Nah, I didn't. I did not do that. Definitely didn't do that. I said, sure, I'll move over, get out your way, make it easier for you. So I already know what happened. And I'm gonna tell you, we'll get to that. We'll get to what else happened on that. Okay, so I jump up, wipe the sleep out my eyes, you know how it go. And I pull the, hey, if y'all shaking, they loading the truck. They on the truck right now. So if it's a little shaky, That's what the deal is. But okay, so I pulled the curtain back, and man, the dude's trailer was sitting right on the edge of that bumper. He's right on the edge of that bumper, and trying to come over. Hey, let's get to it. Okay, so you know how it go. When you're the driver and you in the trainer. I mean, when you in training, over the road training, we all the younger drivers that went through it. The old school cats, they didn't go through it. They learned in a yard somewhere, and then they just threw them down the road. So you get them old drivers that talk plenty of noise to you. If they talk plenty of noise to you, hey, they had an opportunity to learn. They did learn by the fire. You know, they threw them in the deep end and told them sink or swim. They had to learn on the job, you know, and a lot of them didn't have trainers like that, you know. So that's why a lot of them can be kind of hard on you. But regardless, okay, so let me turn this radio down. Okay, so all right, so trainers, and I know this is what y'all do, you know, when the driver's having a hard time, you know, and you can't get him out of the situation, and he got to go wake up the driver and have him move. I already know that driver was cussing that trainee out. I know the trainer was cussing the trainee out, man. I mean, you go over there and you wake him up, blah blah, this that. How you get yourself in this situation where you got to go wake up? And I already know how it go. I know that's how it happened. I know, because the trainer comes over there after the trainee come over there. And he said, "Man, I'm sorry to wake you. I'm sorry he had to wake you, but man, I don't think I could get this out without backing into your truck, you know, or hitting your truck. You know, I don't want to." I was like, "No, I understand. I will move out of your way." So, because I mean, only thing can happen is for it to get worse, and you hit the truck, and we both have a bad day, and neither one of us need to be trying to have no bad day. So I got you. So I get up, and the way I backed in, it was the angle parking spots that you see at the TAs and the Petros. You see them mainly at the TAs and Petros, right? You know, so okay, so those angle spots, you know, they can be hard at times, but you know, the more you drive, the easier they become. So yeah, I was in a spot. And it was a low boy that was not the next to me, but one spot over to my left, and the spot over to my right, it was open. And see, that's how open this TA is. That both of those spots were open, so they were, they were open spots. It was a good place for me to park, especially considering 11 o'clock, 11:30, whatever time it was, I parked. And like I said, I've been there twice, and both times I went there, I mean, it was parking late, and I had spots to park. It wasn't a problem parking. So if by chance, if y'all ever on 70, look for the TA with all the parking, because it's good. I mean, I don't see why it doesn't fill up, because about 10 miles past it is a pilot that you got your mama, daddy, and grandmama, everybody trying to park in that joint. So I don't know. And the thing about it, I guess, well, truck drivers don't like to walk. That's part of the problem, you know. That's what I found out since I've been in this industry. Truck drivers do not like to park, Jack. And this is the deal. The pilot has a McDonald's inside. There's a McDonald's at the TA. It's just across the street. You gotta walk a little ways to it. You gotta walk past out the TA, and there's a gas station. There's a Shell gas station, and there's across the street there's a McDonald's. So you have to walk technically across the street. I mean, I'm assuming that's why they don't like to park there. I don't know, but I mean, it's fine for me. I'm cool with it, you know. So anyway, I move over. You know, and I get right over to the low boy, and I I get over there on that side, and I back in. Basically what I did was I backed in in the spot right beside the low boy, instead of the middle spot, just in case they were gonna park there and they had room to get in there. And man, the trainer, I guess, told the trainee, "Hey man, we finna get out of here," because as soon as I backed in and I got good, hey man, he pulled out and they took off. And it's from that, the trainer. I mean, it was one of the mega carrier companies. It was a big. It was a company everybody knows. A company out of Springfield. I won't name them, but we'll lay off names. But that's the company that these guys drove for. So I'm pretty sure once they got out there, man, that trainer laid into him, because he came to my door saying, "Oh, we was turning and twisting and turning." And I woke up. I was like, "What's going on?" And I woke up, and the trainee, I mean, he had got himself in a jam, and I don't think I can get him out. Hey, it happens, man. We've all been in that learning and that training phase. The best thing for him to have done, and I joke around, but the best thing for him to have done was to wake me up and not hit the truck. Because hitting the truck would have just made both of our days bad. And, his day probably would have been really bad. And then his trainer's day probably would have been bad too. And we'd all had bad days that day, or that night. It would have turned into a bad day. So rather than hit a driver's truck, just wake him up. I mean, the driver he may fuss and cuss, but he'd much rather you wake him up and keep from hitting his truck than for you to hit his truck, and then that's how he wakes up. So, I didn't have a problem with it. I mean, some of these drivers may have, but hey, if they do, man, hey, tell them, hey, man, just tell them, hey, I came real close to hitting your truck and I didn't want to hit it, and then maybe hopefully they'll tone that down a little bit. But next, okay, so we got out of that situation, and like I said, they took off, and I went back to sleep. It was all good. Okay, so the next situation was, I had a friend. He was one of my good friends back from back home, from Jacksonville, Texas. And his nephew decided he wanted to get into trucking. So he had already went to one of the independent schools, and was already graduated and everything. And I kind of kept up with him, during his time at school. So I'm just checking to make sure that we're not green, but we're still red. Okay, so we sat there. I mean, where was I at? Yeah. Oh, my partner's nephew. So he graduates, and all, and he was getting ready to start looking for a company to go to. So I talked to him, and I was like, "Man, what company are you going to decide?" And he told me it's a company out of, I think they're out of Tennessee. WE is their initials. They drive white trucks, black letters. So we'll leave it at that. That's the company he was going to start with. And I'm like, well, why did you decide on that company? Because that company, I don't knock any company. You start where you start. But if you went to school, you're in a situation where you can pick just about all the mega carriers that offer training or take on students. So pick the better one that that's gonna pay decent or pay better, and have better opportunities to move up, or if not to move up, that year you at least make a little money. WE, I don't know much about them. I know that I think I've heard that they do take on people who have a past. Which is nothing wrong with that. You gotta have company. You need companies like that. That's a good thing. But if you don't have a past and you have an opportunity to go anywhere, then look to the better companies. So I sat and I told him, I gave him some other companies to look into, because at the time he was thinking about flatbed, I believe, and then drive-in and reefer. So I don't think he really knew which division was which, because WE told him there was no touch flatbed. I was like, there ain't no touch flatbed. That doesn't happen. That doesn't exist. And I told him, hey, you got these companies here that are good start-off companies, and as far as getting your training and getting your time, your year in, you might make a little money. I gave him a couple of drives. I got drive-in company. I gave him a couple of reefer companies, and then I gave him what I thought to be the two better companies to go with if you were gonna go flatbed. So when I say he was scheduled for orientation on that following Monday with that WE company that we'll call WE, so he ended up he actually had another company that was looking at him too, that have the bright orange trailers. Starts with an S. And I told him, well, the money that they was talking about paying him, I was like, well, you might be able to do better, I wouldn't just sell on them either, look at a couple other companies. And I told him, I gave him a couple that I thought would be pretty decent for him to look at, as far as, like I said, dry reefer and then flatbed. And he ended up going with the Big W, blue. They used to have all blue trailers, but now they have some white ones. But he went with that company, and I told him, and I think he was happy with that decision. They got they take on students. They got good schools. I could have suggested, I did suggest our company, but our company only pulls out of certain schools, and he didn't go to the school that our company pulls out, that they take students out of. So he decided to go with that company, and he seems to be pretty happy in his training phase with his on the road driver. But I say all that to say that you young drivers that's going out there trying to get your CDL, make sure you do your research on the companies. If you go through a school, then, and you don't have a record or anything like that, then make sure you go to you look into the company that the different companies that's out here. If you don't have a record, then there's certain companies that you can pick from that would be better than if you do have a past or a record, however you want to say it. You got some things that's challenging to get you hired. Then it kind of limits you down, just like anything else. If you have something that's not all that particularly great in your past, it may be a little bit hard to get you to the best companies, but you do have some companies you can go to. So always look at it like that, instead of just going to the first company that knocks at the door at orientation. But that's my time. I'm not going to hold y'all any longer. We still out here pulling weight, bro. That's for sure. And if you have not, go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and like, share, comment. Hey, and mash that bell so you know when I make videos. Okay? And for all y'all out there, just riding down the highway doing what you do. Hey, man, y'all be safe out there. Take care and God bless.